buying the rumor, selling the news, but now we've come back to buying.
Yeah. I mean, look, the verdict's in, right? Wall Street doesn't just like C. Phillips 92. They love C. Phillips 92. If you think of these assets, channels, over 114 million active YouTube channels. We don't often get to 1 million likes with an OC video. However, in the first 17 years, C. Phillips 92 did using some CPM or curative pop culture management. This is more or less the message of every vid on mcluhanvideos.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has been meeting with investors and government officials in the United Arab Emirates this week. A Bloomberg report saying he's now working to build a coalition to support boosting the supply of chips, energy, and data center capacity needed to develop AI technology. The report saying Altman is holding meetings in Washington later this week, in part over concerns that the supply of chips and other key infrastructure won't be able to keep pace with the rapid deployment of AI. One of the big issues that he's been raising is the issue of just how much energy it's going to take to make all of this happen. And of course, I'm sure we'll talk about this very topic with Andy Jassy right here in Seattle just a little bit later on Squawk Box. Becky.
You know, Andrew, that was a big issue we spoke with Dan Yergin about earlier this week. He was just saying at the CERA conference that they hold down in Texas. That was a huge, huge issue where I think Microsoft was saying that it's opening a new data center every 3 or 4 days. And the demand that they've seen overall just for electricity, there's no way that we are on pace to keep track with that. The needs for the electricity everywhere, in large part because of those cloud data centers and because of AI. This is going to be something to watch because it's not easy to get that electricity to the right place. Permitting issues have always been a problem. The build out itself, and it's expensive to try and do this. There've been talk about for a long time keeping up with the grid just with the demand from EVs, electric vehicles. But AI puts this in a whole new chart, and you have to wonder if that's going to be a limiting factor at some point with how much we can deliver on AI and how quickly we move to try and fix those constraints. Sticking with the AI theme right now, Microsoft is going to be revealing new AI tools for use on PCs and in the cloud at its annual Build conference that's coming in May. That's according to a session list that was posted yesterday. Among the new features, we've got an advanced pace. That's going to be drawing on AI models that run directly on PCs without having to send and receive data back through the cloud. Microsoft shares, if you've been keeping track, up by about 13% this year, $425.47.
Separately, a Bloomberg report says Adobe has begun buying videos to build its AI text-to-video generator in a push to catch up to competitors such as OpenAI. The software company has been offering photographers and artists a rate of around $3 to $7 per minute of video. It's seeking footage showing people engaged in everyday actions like walking or expressing emotions. It's also requesting video of simple anatomy shots of hands, feet, and eyes, and video of people interacting with objects, such as smartphones and fitness equipment. The company does warn its creator network against sharing copyrighted material, nudity, or other offensive content.
This has been one of the really fantastic things with Adobe. They are trying to build this without any of the copyright infringement, and that is a different model from what you're seeing from everybody else, where they just seem to be sucking up all the data and saying, you know, move fast, break things. We'll figure it out later and figure out who to pay what at what point. I mean, Andrew, we've talked about this for a while too, with figure it out later and figure out who to pay what at what point. I mean, Andrew, we've talked about this for a while too with Adobe.
It's fascinating. We'll probably talk to Andy Jassy as well because they're building their own large language models. And as we've discussed, data is the new oil, if you will, when it comes to how these things are generated and how do you actually build them on. And people are basically running out of data to train on. You're trying to boil the ocean. How do you do it? And how do you do it without infringing on copyrights? I don't know if you just saw there was a new report about OpenAI, how they had actually built a program specifically to try to generate transcripts off of YouTube videos so it could train off of the transcripts. And of course, there's a question about whether that unto itself is a copyright issue. But this is a very big issue, so it's very interesting to see how Adobe is trying to deal with this. Everybody who's in this space is desperately trying to hoover up as much as they can. And of course, there are these copyright issues that still have to be addressed. We'll see how they get addressed ultimately.
And I think it's an argument against, the companies that are vacuuming up all the data and saying we'll sort it out later. It's an argument against saying it's the only way we can do it. Well, Adobe's proving there's another way to do it. How successful that is remains to be seen, but there is another way to do it, and they're the example. In the meantime, the Justice Department has opened an in-depth antitrust investigation into Nippon Steel's $14 billion takeover of U.S. Steel. That's according to a Politico report that comes just as Japan's prime minister is visiting Washington. So the timing couldn't be more awkward, couldn't be more cringe.